I read this book a month and a half ago, and I keep wishing it wouldn't be so damn relevant. Every week, there's a new headline that feels like it could be a case study for it. The book is One Day Everyone Will Always Have Been Against This by Omar Akkad. And it isn't reporting, it isn't analysis, it's more like a moral x-ray. When I picked this up, I framed it in one specific political context. That was easy. Let me file it under one crisis, one region, one news cycle. What's been harder is realizing it is not about a single conflict. It's about the cultural machinery that teaches ordinary people how to live with things that should be intolerable. I'm a white guy in my 40s. My reflex more than once has been, I don't know enough to talk about this. And that sentence feels responsible. It feels measured. It feels adult. Akkad is writing directly at that reflex. The part that lands immediately is the title. One day, everyone will always have been against this. Not because courage suddenly appears, because memory gets edited. Institutions smooth out their complicity. Individuals rewrite their timelines. What deepened for me over the weeks wasn't the argument. It was the pattern. You start noticing how often we're trained to wait, to gather context, to let official voices clarify, to treat outrage as immature and restraint as wisdom. And I felt resistance reading it, not because I disagreed, because it is uncomfortable to admit how small you are running inside of a system that relies on your taxes, your attention, your silence. There's a particular helplessness that comes in recognizing that you are one tiny gear in something that will extract from people you will never meet. The book doesn't yell, it observes. It notices how institutions ration empathy, how some suffering gets roundtables and others get caveats, how language does the work of softening what should not be softened. I used to think that my silence was a form of humility, a way of not overstepping. I still believe that there's danger in speaking without knowledge. And I also see how that posture can be a holding pattern that benefits the status quo. It suggests that hesitation isn't weightlessness, even when it feels careful and even ethical. This book doesn't give you policy prescriptions. It doesn't hand you a script for what to say. It keeps sitting there asking you to examine the comfort of delay. I read it quickly and I've been living with it slowly. And if you've ever felt relieved by the sentence, I don't know enough, this book doesn't shame you for that. It just leaves you alone with why that sentence feels so safe.